The 2026 NFL season is nearly upon us, which means fantasy drafts are in full swing. If you're looking for sleepers, we got some second-year guys who may be primed for a breakout. I am USA Today's Christian DeAndre. He is a Rhode Island scumbag, Mike Yash Boyajin. And we're going to talk about the guys who may be underwhelmed as rookies who could have big come-ups this year, or the guys who thrived as rookies and might be ready for that next step. And I'm going to start it off with Cam Ward. Poor Cam Ward. He dragged Incarnate Word to big seasons. Washington State to big seasons. Miami to greatness. And then he got to the Tennessee Titans. It went poorly. But Tennessee did a great job building around him. You know, they brought in a new head coach. Quarterback whisperer Robert Saleh, who Zach Wilson. Okay, I hear it now. Okay, so not the head coach, but look at the personnel around him. Revamped offensive line. You got a couple of young guys in there who could really make a difference in Peter Skoronski and J.C. Latham. And you got, Wan'Dale Robinson, who expanded his route tree, proved he can be more than a short-range guy en route to 1,000-plus yards with the Giants last year. And number 4 overall pick, Carnell Tate. Tight end situation, a little bit iffy. Chig Okonkwo is now a Washington Commander, but Gunnar Helm can step into that role. He was pretty effective in lesser snaps last season, and the run game will be utilitarian, useful. Tony Pollard, underappreciated, workhorse type guy who's going to get out there and get it done. Listen, Tennessee left really nowhere to go but up for Cam Ward, and he's not going to bring a bunch of running chops like some of the guys you might want from your fantasy lineup, but here's someone who can go out there and surprise you. Maybe you just take him as your second quarterback in that 14th, 15th round, sit on him a bit, and wait and see if he can rise up and take over your starting spot if maybe you talk yourself into Jordan Love again and he keeps throwing for 194 yards per game. Yash, who is your first second-year standout?
Okay, I'm going to stick with another first-round draft pick from last year, but I'm going to switch up position groups. I'm going to go with tight end Tyler Warren.
Okay.
All right, so I know Colson Loveland's getting a lot more buzz than Warren is, but Warren could be in for a huge season in his own right. I think people kind of forget, before Daniel Jones went down last year, Warren was on track for a top 5 tight end finish. 50 catches, 616 yards, 5 touchdowns through 12 games. Once Jones went out, Warren's production absolutely cratered. Catches were still there. He had 26 through the final 5 games, but 201 yards, 0 touchdowns. I mean, he completely went out like a lamb. So now Jones is back. It sounds like he's going to be ready to go week 1. In addition, there really has not been anyone brought in to compete for targets, especially in the middle of the field with the departure of Michael Pittman Jr. to the Steelers.
Well, hold on, Yaj. What about Keenan Allen? I mean, we saw him steal a bunch of targets from Ladd McConkey last year. And,
we did.
He's getting old, but he's still out there. He might be able to get things done over the middle of the field. Do you have any concerns that Tyler Warren might get his role reduced like McConkey did in his second season last year?
Not really, because I think the big difference between that is Justin Herbert had already played with Keenan Allen beforehand, so it was kind of like a reunion of sorts for those two. Versus the rapport that Jones and Warren had last year, I feel like that he might just stick with that. Keenan Allen could be a great safety blanket for him, but I don't think the relationship between receiver and quarterback is the same as it was in Los Angeles now. So that's kind of where I stand with that. Even if he inherits some of those targets, I think he's going to have a really, really good year this year.
Yeah. All right. My next pick, I'm actually going to double dip here. I'm going to cheat a little bit because it's 2 guys the Green Bay Packers took on day 1 and day 2. That's Matthew Golden and Savion Williams. Now, both guys kind of underwhelmed as rookies, obviously. Golden was supposed to be the alpha in that very deep young receiving core. Didn't come through, even though he's the first round wideout Green Bay had selected in about 20 years. And Savion Williams got more run as a gadget play runner than as a target. However, Green Bay was happy to let some of its contributors go this offseason. We saw Romeo Doubs become a New England Patriot. We saw Dontavian Wicks get traded to the Philadelphia Eagles. That suggests they have a lot of confidence in their internal growth there. And you have a lineup that, one, really kind of stretches the limits of its receiving depth chart. We know Jordan Love likes to find guys who are wide receiver 4, wide receiver 5. But two, there is a situation here where, yeah, Christian Watson got big money, but he doesn't stay healthy. He is a bit glitchy, a bit streaky, and maybe this is the year he breaks through. But he's also got a lot of young talent behind him, pushing him for snaps, who can fill a role when he does go down with the inevitable hamstring strain in week 9 or whatever. So Golden obviously is going to be primed for more touches, and Williams is going to be a gadgety type of Deebo Samuel kind of player in the Matt LaFleur offense. Mm-hmm. Yes, Tucker Kraft is back, and the offense is probably going to flow through him more than we would want for our wideouts. But at the same time, Jordan Love's got to throw to someone. We know this is an offense that really spreads the ball out. It's going to set a limit onto how much Golden and Williams can do, but I think they're going to be steady contributors for an offense that is probably going to struggle to run the ball and will be passing quite a bit. Yash, who's your final second-year breakthrough guy?
All right, this should come to absolutely no surprise to you or anybody who listened to us last year.
All 6 of them.
I'm going to roll with my boy Luther Burden III of the Chicago Bears. Surprise, surprise. All right, so there are several other players I was looking at, Emeka Egbuka, Ashton Genty, Omarion Hampton, but I'd be remiss if I don't highlight one of my favorite rookies, Luther Burden. So with the departures of Moore and Zacchaeus, target competition shrunk significantly amongst the pass catchers. Yep. So now, the focus is pretty much Loveland, Burden, Odunze. So that's a really exciting development for Burden fans like me. We know Ben Johnson is an offensive guru. We know he absolutely has a burning hot passion for the slot receiver. I hadn't heard Brian Hartline's name brought up in maybe 10, 15 years until he was waxing poetic about Brian Hartline recently. So again, this guy just loves a good slot receiver, much like Belichick used to love talking about linebackers. So he's kind of in that the apple of the coach's eye. I really like that. His role should be no different. Loveland could be at the top option in the passing game, but Burden isn't going away. More importantly, his skill set aligns beautifully with what Ben Johnson wants to do. Burden is really good at breaking tackles, creating something out of nothing. The offense is designed to get the ball out quickly. So Burden's speed and shiftiness are going to be paramount in producing yak and moving the ball downfield. So again, I think those quick passes make him especially valuable in PPR leagues where he's getting, 5 or 6 quick dump offs. That's 5 points right there. So I'm going to roll forward with him. Now the groin injury does put a little bit of a damper on this, but quite honestly, I think the ADP was getting a little too high for my liking anyway. He was getting really gassed up over the last couple weeks leading up to the injury, where people, consensus was, 3rd, 4th round, which is kind of early for a guy who hasn't done much in terms of proving him. But I'll gladly scoop him at his current ADP with the potential to elevate himself into the league's elite pass catchers by the season's end. So Luther Burden.
This is a coach who made Amon-Ra St. Brown a fantasy god. He's playing with 2 guys who can absolutely clear space for him. Romo and Dunze is your 50-50 ball downfield. Mm-hmm. Colston Loveland can get up the seam. That creates a vacuum. You get it to Burden in space, and he's an absolute nightmare to take down. Yep. I hated seeing Vandy play against him when he was at Missouri. Probably going to hate seeing him when he is playing for the Bears and I'm at the bar watching Packers games, but at the same time, love him for fantasy context.
Right.